from Serenity Animal Hospital, and we are going to read Chapter 9 of Izzy's story, The Mill and Beyond, for Chaz, a little guy who was rescued from Texas, and he needs a home. He is a young boy, and he is very sweet. And so if you could consider adopting this little guy, he needs a home. All right, let's start with Chapter 9. And Chaz, you just run around and have a good time. Chapter 9, and I thought back, all the way back, to my pre-dog life in 1999. My journeyman from the factory, a tech-savvy gentleman, had dropped by the house to help with a new desktop computer. I gave him a short tour before he left. Looking at my fenced backyard, he referred to an earlier conversation we had been having at work. This is a perfect yard for a dog. Can I handle adding a dog to my life? Mixed feelings was a nice way to describe my uncertainty clashing with my desire. Several months after opening the discussion with my trainer at work, I was still considering. On the one hand, I lived alone and I worked full-time. I drive only 2 miles to work and could easily run home for a quick lunch, which meant a dog could get a midday potty break. But I also attended college at night, part of my skilled trades training. A dog would be alone quite a bit. Still thinking, analyzing, weighing all my options, I considered the possibilities. Since my divorce was finalized, 7 years had passed. I made a decent wage and could afford a purebred purchase. When I was a child, the family dogs had always been mixed breeds. Studying arguments about purebreds, I had decided to find a reputable breeder and make a purchase. I was apprehensive, but determined to make it work. My choice in July 1999 was a Maltese puppy. My mother went with me to pick up the 4-month-old male. The breeder had kept him longer than the normal 8 weeks to determine if his white coat and general breed characteristics warranted seeking champion status in the show ring. Deciding not to show him, the breeder offered him for sale. I remembered when I first saw the dog that would become my Jessie. The breeder held him in her arms as she opened the door to the farmhouse to let us in. My mother and I followed the breeder to a parlor where Jessie was allowed to run around on a Persian carpet. "He's so white and fluffy," I said, as I sat on a couch with my mother. The breeder stood back. Jessie had the run of the rug. "Can I see a female too?" A female was my first choice. The breeder said she hadn't prepared a female for viewing, forecasting my future effort to control Jessie's coat from matting. Taking a serious look at the little 4-month-old puppy, I decided to buy him. Mom held Jessie all the way home while he gnawed on her fingers with his sharp baby teeth. The decision to cut his coat back to a non-show ring style, commonly referred to as puppy cut, came within his first 10 days at home. The fluffy, pure white, feather-light Maltese coat, so soft to the touch, was very difficult to keep from matting. That issue, along with Jessie's obvious loneliness, helped me to decide he needed a doggy friend, but a puppy with a coat that was easier to manage. In my research of small dog breeds, I had not paid close attention to the work needed to control the Maltese coat. I chose a different non-shedding breed for Jessie's companion. 7 months and 1 week later, I drove my sister Karen to help me pick up an 8-week-old Lhasa Apso from another breeder. I continued to follow the path of purchasing purebred dogs. This time I picked a dog that would grow to be about 4 to 6 pounds heavier than Jessie. Sophie, as she would be named, was also a potential show dog. Didn't mean a thing to me, except that I'd picked a beauty. Properly introducing the dogs to each other was of utmost importance. Once we got home, Karen stayed out in the driveway with the newly christened Sophie in the back of my van. The van's hatch door was open. Sophie was easily kept busy by playing with Karen. I went into the house and brought Jessie out to the front yard on the pretense of going for a walk. Jessie, as always, trotted along, ecstatic to walk with me. I remembered the moment frozen in time. Special moments ring of my brain. The tiny Lhasa Apso stood completely still. She looked out from the van as Jessie and I rounded the corner. Karen stayed near Sophie. I stopped and picked up Jessie. Time stood still. 1, 2, 3 blinks of Sophie's long eyelashes, and Jessie was hooked. He's in love with his sister, I remembered commenting to Karen. And she's in love with her brother, Karen smiled. The core pack had formed. When visiting Serenity Animal Hospital over the years with Jessie and Sophie, I started paying attention to the commitment Dr. Karen and her staff had toward rescuing dogs and cats. Even though I felt my fur family bordered on perfection, I became aware of the ever-growing epidemic of puppy mills, changing the way I looked at adopting a pet. Having no desire to add to my family, though, I kept my thoughts to myself until April 2008. Okay, that's the end of chapter 9. That's when I first got my first 2 dogs, and then I started going to rescue doggies, like Chaz, little sweetheart. He said, I'm a little shy. I love Jessica, the camera person, more because I know her. Once Chaz gets to know you, you're gonna love him, and he needs a home. Please contact Serenity Animal Hospital and give Chaz the home he deserves. We shall see you next time. Bye.